My friends went on a group trip. They didn't come back. I need to tell someone this. I've been sitting on it for weeks now, turning it over in my head, trying to convince myself that what I saw wasn't real. That what Ryan told me isn't true. But I can't. Because every time I close my eyes, I see Lauren's face. I see her eyes roll back in her skull. And I know. So here it is. Everything. From the beginning. I met Ryan at a farmer's market in October. That's the kind of detail that makes this whole thing worse, you know. It wasn't some dark alley. It wasn't online. It was a sunny Saturday morning, and I was holding a bag of apples, and this guy in a jester costume walked up to me with a stack of leaflets and the most disarming smile I'd ever seen. "Have you ever heard of Azure Island?" he asked. I hadn't. Obviously I hadn't. Nobody had. That was kind of the point. He was tall. Dark hair that fell across his forehead in this effortless way that made you want to brush it back. His eyes were brown but warm, the kind of brown that catches light and turns golden. And he was wearing a full jester costume, the hat with the bells, the diamond-patterned tunic, the curled shoes. On anyone else it would have looked ridiculous. On Ryan it looked charming. Intentional. Like he was in on a joke the rest of the world hadn't heard yet. "It's a group trip," he said, handing me a leaflet. The paper was thick, glossy. Professional. 3 days on a private island. All expenses paid. Food, accommodation, activities. Think of it like a retreat, but actually fun. I laughed. I remember laughing. God, I wish I hadn't laughed. "What's the catch?" I asked. "No catch," he said. "Just, stay with the group. That's the only rule." We started dating. That's the part that makes me feel the most sick now, because I genuinely liked him. More than liked him. Ryan was magnetic in a way that felt natural, not practiced. He remembered things I said in passing. He'd show up with coffee made exactly the way I liked it. He texted back immediately. He made me feel like the center of his universe. My friends noticed. Lauren, my best friend since freshman year of college, kept telling me she'd never seen me this happy. Aiden, Lauren's boyfriend, said Ryan was a solid dude after they met for drinks one night. Everything was clicking into place the way it does in the early days when you think you've finally found your person. And in the background, always, there was Azure Island. Ryan didn't push it. That was the genius of it. He'd mention it casually. A photo on his phone of turquoise water. A story about someone who went last year and came back totally transformed. Small breadcrumbs that made it sound like something you'd be stupid to miss. Eventually, I brought it up myself. What if Lauren and Aiden came too? Ryan's face lit up. That would be amazing. The more the merrier. Seriously, Jess, you're going to love it. The trip was organized with terrifying efficiency. I don't mean that in a suspicious way. At the time, it felt reassuring. Professional. We got itineraries. Waivers. Packing lists. There was a private online portal where you could see the other participants. When I signed up, there were already 47 names. By the time we boarded the bus to the airport, there were over 60. 60 people. Lauren was buzzing with excitement the morning we left. She'd packed 3 bikinis, a sun hat she'd bought specifically for the trip, and enough sunscreen to coat a small building. Aiden was quieter but smiling, his arm draped over Lauren's shoulders as we stood in the parking lot waiting for the bus. Ryan was there too, of course. But he was different that morning. I noticed it but didn't dwell on it. His jaw was tight. He kept checking his phone. When I kissed him, he kissed me back, but there was something behind his eyes. Something that looked, in retrospect, like grief. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. "Just want everything to go perfectly." The bus was enormous. One of those double-deckers with tinted windows and plush seats. Everyone was in high spirits. There were people of all ages, college kids, young professionals, a couple who looked like they were in their 50s. Music was playing through speakers. Someone had brought champagne. It felt like the beginning of something wonderful. Ryan sat next to me and held my hand. His palm was sweating. "Remember," he said quietly, leaning close to my ear. "Stay with the group. Whatever happens, don't wander off." I nodded. It sounded reasonable. Standard group trip advice. But the way he said it. The way his fingers tightened around mine. Like he was trying to press the words into my skin. Our flight got delayed in Amsterdam. It was supposed to be a brief layover, 2 hours, grab a coffee, stretch your legs, get back on the plane. But something happened with the connecting flight. Mechanical issue, they said. We'd be grounded overnight. The organizers scrambled. They booked rooms at a hotel near Schiphol. Nothing fancy, fluorescent lights, thin walls, a lobby that smelled like industrial cleaner and stale croissants. But it was fine. Everyone was disappointed but handling it. Lauren and Aiden got a room down the hall from mine. Ryan was on a different floor. I texted him goodnight. He replied with a single heart emoji. I fell asleep around 11. At 2:47 a.m., someone started banging on my door. Not knocking. Banging. The kind of banging that makes the hinges rattle, that sends vibrations through the floor, that jolts you out of sleep with your heart already at full sprint before your brain catches up. I stumbled to the door and opened it. Ryan was standing there. And I almost didn't recognize him. His face was white. Not pale, white. Like every drop of blood had drained out of him and pooled somewhere else. His eyes were wide and red-rimmed and darting, and he was breathing in these short, ragged gasps that sounded like they hurt. His shirt was buttoned wrong. One of his shoes was untied. "Jess," he said. His voice cracked on my name. "You need to leave." "What?" "Right now. You need to leave right now." He pushed past me into the room and grabbed my bag from the floor. Started shoving my clothes into it, the ones I'd laid out on the chair for the next day. His hands were shaking so badly he dropped my phone twice. "Ryan, what the hell is going on?" "I can't explain. There's no time." He turned to me and grabbed my shoulders. His grip was painful. "You need to get on a plane. Tonight. Right now. That's insane. What about the trip? What about Lauren and don't?" His voice broke. Actually broke, like a teenage boy's. "Don't think about them right now. Think about you. Think about getting home." He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. A plane ticket. Already printed. My name on it. A flight leaving Schiphol at 5:15 a.m. Back to the States. He'd already bought it. I stared at the ticket. Then I stared at him. How long have you had this? He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled me close and kissed me. Not the way he usually kissed me, gentle, teasing, warm. This was desperate. This was the kind of kiss that tasted like goodbye. His hands were in my hair and his body was shaking against mine, and when he pulled back, there were tears on his cheeks. Please, he whispered. I'm begging you. Get on that plane. Why can't you come with me? Something in his face collapsed. A door closing. A light going out. Because I can't. I don't know why I listened. I've turned that question over 1,000 times since. Maybe it was the look on his face. Maybe it was some animal instinct, some deep brain alarm that recognized a threat my conscious mind couldn't process. Maybe I was just scared and wanted to go home. I got dressed. I grabbed my bag. Ryan walked me down to the lobby, called a cab, and stood on the curb as I got in. The last thing I saw was him standing there under the yellow hotel lights, one hand raised. Not waving. Just holding it up. Like he was trying to keep me in place. Like he was memorizing me. The cab pulled away. I cried the entire ride to the airport. At the airport, I sat in a plastic chair at gate C14 and called Lauren. It went to voicemail. I texted her, "Hey, something came up. I had to fly home. I'm so sorry. Have the best time." She replied 20 minutes later, "OMG no. Are you okay? We'll miss you." That was the last normal text I ever got from Lauren. I boarded the plane. I flew home. I sat in my empty apartment and stared at the wall and tried to figure out what the hell had just happened. Ryan wasn't answering his phone. I called him 11 times that day. Nothing. I told myself he panicked. Some kind of anxiety attack. A mental health episode. Something explainable. Something that would make sense in the morning light. 3 days later, Lauren and Aiden came home. Lauren called me from the airport. She was laughing, giddy, talking a mile a minute. "Jess, oh my God, you missed the most incredible trip. The island was unreal. Like, literally the most beautiful place I've ever seen. The water was this insane shade of blue. They had bonfires on the beach every night. And the food, Jess. She sounded fine. She sounded great. She sounded like Lauren. I'm so glad," I said. And I meant it. I was relieved. See? Nothing to worry about. Ryan had a panic attack, and I'd overreacted, and everything was fine. "We have to get dinner this week," Lauren said. "I have so many photos to show you." Absolutely. Dinner was 4 days later. A Thai place we liked downtown. Lauren showed up 10 minutes late, which was unusual. She was pathologically punctual, the kind of person who showed up to parties before the host was ready. But okay. Traffic. Whatever. She looked good. Tan, relaxed, glowing. She hugged me tight and slid into the booth and immediately started scrolling through her camera roll. "Look at this sunset," she said, turning her phone toward me. "And this one. Oh, and this is Ryan. Wait, no, that's someone else. This one. He looks cute, right? You guys are so good together." I paused. "You saw Ryan on the trip?" Yeah, obviously. He was one of the group leaders. Did he seem okay? Lauren frowned. Yeah. He was fine. Why? I didn't press it. I didn't know how to explain without sounding paranoid. But something was off. I couldn't place it at first. It was like trying to spot a single wrong pixel on a screen. Everything looks normal until it doesn't. Lauren was saying all the right things, hitting all the right emotional beats. But there was something mechanical about it. Like she was performing Lauren rather than being Lauren. When I mentioned her cousin's wedding, the one she'd been stress planning for months, she blinked. Which cousin? Megan. Your cousin Megan. The wedding in June. Oh. Right. Megan. Yeah, that's coming up. Lauren had been in Megan's bridal party since January. She'd shown me the bridesmaid dress. She'd complained about the color for 3 weeks straight. Sage green, she'd called it. More like swamp mucus. Now she barely remembered who Megan was. I told myself it was jet lag. Travel brain. People come back from trips and they're spacey for a while. It's normal. But then I noticed it with Aiden too. Aiden had always been the loud one. The guy who told stories with his whole body, arms flailing, voice rising and falling. He'd interrupt himself with laughter. He'd slap the table when he hit a punchline. He was exhausting in the best possible way. The Aiden who came back from Azure Island was quieter. Not sad. Not depressed. Just, flatter. Like someone had taken his personality and run it through a filter that removed all the peaks and valleys. He smiled when he was supposed to smile. He laughed when he was supposed to laugh. But the spontaneity was gone. The unpredictability. The thing that made Aiden Aiden. I kept watching them. Over the next 2 weeks, I catalogued the differences like a detective building a case. Lauren forgot the name of her childhood dog. She'd had that dog for 14 years. His name was Biscuit, and she used to talk about him constantly. I mentioned Biscuit once and she gave me the blonkiest look I've ever seen. Aiden didn't know how to get to his own gym. He'd been going to the same CrossFit box for 3 years. When we offered to drive together one morning, he asked me for the address. Lauren ordered a steak at dinner. Medium rare. Lauren was a vegetarian. Had been since we were 19. Small things. Things that anyone else would have missed or rationalized. But I knew these people. I'd known Lauren for 6 years. I'd watched Aiden propose to her at a rooftop bar while she cried so hard she couldn't say yes. I knew the texture of their lives, the tiny details that made them who they were. And those details were wrong. 3 weeks after the trip. That's when it happened. Lauren and I were at my apartment. Movie night. She was sitting on my couch with a bowl of popcorn, her legs tucked under her, the TV casting blue light across her face. We were watching some romantic comedy. Something forgettable. She was laughing at the right parts. Then she stopped. Mid-laugh, she just stopped. Like someone hit pause on a remote. Her face went slack. Not relaxed, slack. Like the muscles had disconnected from whatever was driving them. Lauren? No response. She was staring at the TV, but she wasn't seeing it. Her eyes had gone glassy, unfocused, like she was looking at something 1,000 miles behind the screen. Lauren, are you okay? And then her eyes rolled back. Not the way your eyes roll back when you faint. Not a flutter. Her eyes rolled back slowly, deliberately, like something was pulling them from behind. The irises slid up and disappeared, and all I could see were the whites. But they weren't white, not really. They were this sickly grayish color, shot through with tiny red veins, and they were moving. Vibrating. Oscillating in tiny circles, her entire eyeballs spinning in their sockets like they were being operated by a mechanism I couldn't see. Her mouth opened. Just slightly. And a sound came out. Not a word. Not a groan. A frequency. A hum. Low and steady and wrong in a way that made my teeth ache and my chest tighten and every hair on my body stand at attention. I screamed. Her eyes went white. Completely white. I screamed. The popcorn bowl hit the floor. Kernels scattered across the hardwood. I was backing away, pressing myself against the wall, and Lauren was sitting there on my couch with her eyes rolled back and that horrible humming sound coming from her throat. It lasted maybe 10 seconds. Maybe less. Probably less. It felt like an hour. Then her eyes snapped back. Just snapped. Like a rubber band. Her irises reappeared, her pupils contracted, and she blinked once, twice, and turned to look at me with a perfectly normal expression. "You okay?" she asked. "You look pale." The popcorn was still on the floor. "Your eyes," I whispered. "What about them?" "They just, Lauren, your eyes just rolled back in your head. Like, completely. You were making this sound." She frowned. Touched her face. "I think I just zoned out for a second. I'm tired. Long week. I didn't sleep that night." I lay in bed staring at the ceiling with every light in the apartment turned on and my phone clutched to my chest. At 3 a.m., I called Ryan. He picked up on the second ring. "Jess." He said my name like he'd been waiting. Like he'd known this call was coming. Like he'd been sitting in the dark with his phone in his hand, counting the days until I saw what he knew I'd see. "Something's wrong with Lauren," I said. My voice was shaking. I couldn't stop it. Her eyes, Ryan. Her eyes did something. They rolled back and she was humming and then she just snapped out of it like nothing happened. And she's been different ever since the trip. She doesn't remember things. She forgot her dog's name. She ordered a steak. She's a vegetarian, Ryan. She doesn't eat meat. And Aiden is wrong too. He's flat. He's like a photocopy of himself. What happened on that island? Silence on the line. Not empty silence. Heavy silence. The silence of someone choosing their words. "I need to see you," Ryan said. "In person. Tomorrow. Tell me now. I can't do this over the phone. Please, Jess. Tomorrow. The coffee shop on Maple. 2 o'clock. He was already there when I arrived. Sitting in the back corner, facing the door, a coffee in front of him that he hadn't touched. He looked different. Thinner. Darker circles under his eyes. His hair was longer, uncombed. He looked like a man who hadn't been sleeping. I sat across from him. My hands were shaking, so I put them in my lap where he couldn't see. "Tell me," I said. Ryan looked at me for a long moment. Then he looked down at the table. "The island," he said slowly, is where they switch people. Switch people. Different versions. From parallel timelines. The person who goes doesn't come back. They're sent somewhere else, somewhere worse. And the version that returns is from a timeline where they suffered. Where their life was pain. Their memories are replaced, overwritten with the originals, mostly. But the replacement isn't perfect. There are gaps. Inconsistencies. Things that don't quite match. I stared at him. You're insane. I know how it sounds. Parallel timelines. You're sitting here telling me that my best friend was swapped with a version of herself from another dimension. I'm sitting here telling you what I know. What I've seen. What happened to me. He told me everything. 2 years ago, Ryan went on a trip to Thailand. Solo backpacking. Hostels and night markets and temples. Normal stuff. Then one night in Bangkok, he woke up in a room he didn't recognize. Concrete floor. No windows. A single fluorescent light buzzing overhead. He was there for weeks. He couldn't say how many. Time didn't work properly. Sometimes it felt like hours. Sometimes it felt like months. There were others with him. People from different places, different countries, speaking different languages. All of them had the same expression. Hollow. Broken. Terrified. They were subjected to things he wouldn't describe in detail. He started to, once, and then stopped. His jaw clenched. His eyes went somewhere far away. And he said, they need this suffering. It generates something. Energy, maybe. Or a frequency. I don't know the science. I just know they harvest it. Then one day, he woke up somewhere else. A facility. Clean. White. Clinical. A man in a gray suit sat across from him and explained, very calmly, that Ryan had been transferred. That his original timeline self was now where he had been. And that he had a choice. Option 1, his memories would be wiped. He'd be given a new set, a close approximation of his original life, and he'd go back. He'd never know what happened. He'd be a replacement, just like all the others. Just like Lauren. Just like Aiden. Option 2, he could keep his memories. All of them. The facility. The suffering. The truth. But there was a price. He had to recruit 10 people per cycle. That was his quota. 10 people who would board the bus, get on the plane, arrive on the island, and never come back. Their alternates would return in their place, patched with overwritten memories, close enough to pass. Close enough that no one would notice. Unless you knew what to look for. Why? I asked. My voice sounded far away, like it was coming from the bottom of a well. Why would you agree to that? Because the alternative was worse. They showed me what happens when you get wiped. You don't just lose memories, Jess. You lose yourself. Your sense of self. Your ability to feel things in the way that makes you you. You become a copy. A good copy, but a copy. And I couldn't, he broke off. Swallowed. I couldn't stop being me. Even after everything they did. I couldn't give that up. So instead you feed them other people. He flinched. Actually flinched, like I'd slapped him. Yes. 60 people, Ryan. There were over 60 people on that bus. Not all of them get switched. Some go and come back. The island selects. I don't control who. But you brought them there. You recruited them. With your stupid leaflets and your farmer's market smile and I was crying. I didn't realize I was crying until I tasted salt. Lauren and Aiden, I said. Are the real Lauren and Aiden? Ryan was quiet for a long time. The people who came back are not the people who left. I sat with that. I let it land in my chest like a stone and sink through me. The Lauren who was sitting on my couch 2 nights ago, eating popcorn and laughing at a movie, was not my Lauren. Not the Lauren who ugly cried at Aiden's proposal. Not the Lauren who named her dog Biscuit and spent 14 years sleeping with him at the foot of her bed. Not the Lauren who was going to be a bridesmaid at her cousin Megan's wedding in a sage green dress she hated. That Lauren was somewhere else. Somewhere worse. And the thing sitting on my couch was a replacement. A version pulled from a timeline soaked in suffering, given a patchwork quilt of stolen memories, and sent back to fill the space. Close enough to fool everyone. Everyone except me. The eyes, I said. What was that? Calibration errors, Ryan said. The overwrite isn't clean. Especially in the first few weeks. The original consciousness, the one from the suffering timeline, sometimes breaks through. Just for a moment. The eyes are the most common tell. Sometimes it's the voice. Sometimes they say things in languages they shouldn't know. Languages? The suffering timeline isn't, it's not a mirror of ours. Time works differently there. Some of the replacements have been in that other place for years, even if it's only been days here. They pick things up. Phrases. Reflexes. It bleeds through. Why did you save me? I asked. Ryan looked at me. Really looked at me. And for the first time since I'd sat down, I saw something behind the exhaustion and the guilt and the carefully measured words. Something raw. Something that looked like it hurt. Because I love you, he said. And I couldn't let you go there. I couldn't be the reason you disappeared. But Lauren. Aiden. You let them go. I know. You let 60 people go. I know. And you'll do it again. The next cycle. You'll stand at some farmer's market with your leaflets and your costume and you'll recruit 10 more people and they'll go to that island and they won't come back. He didn't deny it. He didn't look away. He sat there and held my gaze and his eyes were full of something I couldn't name. Shame, maybe. Or the thing that comes after shame, when you've lived with it so long it becomes a part of your skeleton. If I stop, he said, they wipe me. And then I'm one of them. A copy walking around with someone else's life, and the real me is in that place. That suffering place. Forever. So you keep doing it. I keep doing it. I went home after that conversation and threw up. Twice. Then I sat on the bathroom floor and looked at my phone. Lauren had texted me a photo of a sunset. Miss you. Dinner soon, with a smiley face. I typed back, sounds great. What else could I say? That night, I went through old photos of Lauren. The real Lauren. I found one from our college graduation, her arm around me, both of us crying, her mortarboard crooked on her head. She was mid-laugh, her nose crinkled the way it always did. Biscuit was in the background, being held by her mom, his tongue hanging out. I zoomed in on her eyes. Brown. Warm. Full of something. Life, I guess. The thing you don't notice until it's gone. Then I looked at the photos from the week before. The ones new Lauren had taken on the trip and texted me. Azure water. White sand. Bonfire sparks against a dark sky. And in one of them, a selfie. Lauren, tan and smiling, holding a cocktail. Her eyes. They were the same color. The same shape. The same long lashes she used to joke were the only good thing my dad gave me. But they were empty. Not blank. Not dead. Just empty. Like a house with all the furniture in. The right place but no one living there. The weeks that followed were the loneliest of my life. I couldn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? Parallel timelines. Memory overwrites. An island that swaps people with versions of themselves from dimensions of suffering. I'd be in a psychiatric hold before I finished the first sentence. So I kept going to dinner with not Lauren. I kept making small talk with not Aiden. I watched them learn to be the people they'd replaced, getting better at it every day. The gaps filled in. Not Lauren eventually remembered Megan's wedding. Not Aiden started telling stories with his hands again, though it always looked slightly rehearsed, like an actor who'd studied the part. And I smiled. And I laughed. And I pretended. But at night, alone in my apartment, I'd lie in bed and think about the real Lauren. Where she was. What was happening to her. Whether she was in a concrete room with no windows, under a buzzing fluorescent light, screaming my name. Whether she remembered me at all. Whether they'd already broken her so completely that she'd forgotten everything, Biscuit, Megan, Sage Green, the rooftop bar, the way she used to laugh so hard she snorted and then laughed harder because she snorted. I'd think about that, and I'd stare at the ceiling, and I wouldn't sleep. Ryan and I are still together. I know. I know what you're thinking. How can I be with someone who does what he does? How can I kiss a man who stands at farmers markets and street fairs and community events with his stupid jester costume and his stack of glossy leaflets and his warm brown eyes and his easy smile, and lures people, real, living people with families and friends and dogs and cousins getting married, to an island where they'll be replaced by hollow copies of themselves? I don't have a good answer. Maybe it's because he saved me. Maybe it's because when I look at him, I see someone who's been to that other place, who's been broken and put back together wrong, and who chose the only option that let him keep being himself. Maybe it's because love isn't rational and never has been, and I can't stop it any more than I can stop the tide. Or maybe it's because I'm afraid of what happens if I leave. Not to me. To everyone else. Ryan needs 10 people per cycle. If I leave him, if I destabilize him, if he breaks down and stops recruiting, they wipe him. And then he's one of them. And maybe the next recruiter isn't as careful. Maybe the next recruiter doesn't fall in love with someone and buy them a midnight plane ticket out of Amsterdam. Maybe the next recruiter takes everyone. It's been almost 2 months since the trip. Not Lauren is getting better at being Lauren. She remembered Biscuit's name last week. She's eating vegetarian again, someone must have told her, or maybe the overwrite finally caught up. She and not Aiden are planning a vacation. They seem happy. Or whatever passes for happy when you're a patchwork of stolen memories stretched over a consciousness that came from somewhere terrible. Sometimes I catch not Lauren staring at nothing. Just for a second. Her face goes slack, her eyes drift, and there's this micro-expression, a flicker of something that doesn't belong. Pain, maybe. Or confusion. Like she's trying to remember something from before. From the other place. And then it passes, and she smiles, and she's Lauren again. But she's not Lauren. She's never going to be Lauren. Ryan came over last night. We sat on the couch, the same couch where not Lauren's eyes rolled back in her skull, and we watched TV, and I rested my head on his chest and listened to his heartbeat. It sounded normal. Human. Steady. When's the next cycle? I asked. He didn't answer right away. His hand was in my hair, his fingers tracing slow circles against my scalp. 6 weeks, he said. Have you started? The leaflets? I designed them yesterday. I closed my eyes. What's the destination this time? Sapphire Cove. Different name. Same island. Same island. Always the same island. I keep thinking about what he told me in the coffee shop. About the energy. The suffering that generates something they need. I asked him once who they are, the people behind the island, the facility, the man in the gray suit. He said he didn't know. Not really. He'd seen fragments. Symbols on walls. Technology that didn't look like anything from our world. He said he thought they might not be from our timeline at all. That they might exist in the spaces between them, feeding on the differential. On the gap between what your life is and what it could have been. I asked him if there was a way to stop them. To shut down the island. To bring the originals back. He looked at me with those golden brown eyes, and he said, Jess, I've been to the other side. There is no back. There's only the deal you make to keep going. I asked him how many cycles he'd done. This will be my 7th. 7 cycles. 10 people each. 70 people, minimum, who went on a fun group trip and never came back. 70 people who are right now in a place designed to break them, generating suffering for entities that exist between realities. And sitting next to me on the couch, holding my hand, was the man who put them there. I had a dream last night. I was on the island. Azure water. White sand. Palm trees swaying in a warm breeze. It was beautiful. Peaceful. I was standing on the beach alone, and the sun was setting, and the sky was this impossible shade of orange and pink and gold. Then I looked down at the water. And the water was full of faces. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Just below the surface, their mouths open, their eyes wide. Looking up at me. Looking up at the sky they couldn't reach. Some of them were screaming, but the water swallowed the sound. I recognized one of them. Lauren. The real Lauren. My Lauren. She was looking at me with those brown eyes, the ones that used to crinkle when she laughed, the ones that were full of life in our graduation photo. But they weren't full anymore. They were full of something else. Something that made my blood turn to ice. She mouthed a word. I couldn't hear it. But I could read it on her lips. Help. I woke up screaming. Ryan was already awake next to me. He held me while I cried. He didn't ask what the dream was about. I think he already knew. I think he has the same dream. I don't know why I'm telling this to strangers. Maybe because I can't tell anyone I know. Maybe because I need someone to believe me. Maybe because some part of me hopes that if enough people know, if enough people are warned, maybe someone won't get on that bus. So here's your warning. If someone approaches you, at a market, at a festival, on a street corner, with a leaflet for a group trip that sounds too good to be true, don't take it. If they're charming and magnetic and they remember your coffee order and they kiss you like you're the only person in the world, run. If the destination has a color in its name, azure, sapphire, cobalt, emerald, run faster. And if you've already been, and you came back, and everything feels fine, look in the mirror. Look closely. Ask yourself, do your eyes look the same? Do you remember your dog's name? Do you remember who you used to be? Because somewhere, in a concrete room with no windows, under a buzzing fluorescent light, the person you used to be is looking up. Waiting. Suffering. Generating energy for things that live in the spaces between worlds. And the person reading this right now might not be you at all. As for me, I'm still here. Still pretending. Still having dinner with a woman who wears my best friend's face. Still sleeping next to a man who has a quota to fill. He's designing new leaflets this week. Sapphire Cove. A new batch of 60 names on a private portal. A new bus. A new flight. 10 of them won't come back. And Ryan will come home to me, and he'll hold me, and he'll tell me he loves me, and I'll believe him. Because I have to. Because the alternative is a concrete room and a buzzing light and the slow, methodical dismantling of everything I am. He has to keep meeting his quota. And I have to keep pretending I can live with that. Good night. Lock your doors. And if your best friend comes back from a trip and orders a steak when she's been a vegetarian for 6 years, don't say anything. Just smile. It's safer that way.